From Butler High School's natatorium, it's a swim meet between the Butler Golden Tornado and the Titusville Titans. Good evening, this is Ed Cody, along with Amy Bocci. She's going to bring you all the particulars here in this swim meet. And if you're looking for someplace warm to get out of the cold, come up here to Butler High School's natatorium. It's nice and warm in here. Amy, lots of experience with you, a swimmer at Penn Trafford High School and then on to Edinburgh University, where you met your husband, Dave, who's the head coach here at Butler. Your son's a member of the team. What are we looking for here tonight is you're getting ready, approaching the WPIL meet. There's section meets coming up.
Yes, correct. We only have one meet left after tonight, and that's a big one against Seneca Valley next Thursday night. That'll end the dual meet season. Then the kids have about a week to prepare for Whippeals, which will be at Trees Pool Pit March 1st and March 2nd.
Boy, they've been at Trees Pool for how many years now? 75 years or 80 years for swimming down there. It's been a great tradition to finish up. And then you have some Butler kids like Laura Gettler, who's been experienced. She's been there before. And we're going to start off with diving right now as we're getting ready for our first contestant.
We have some divers tonight from Grove City. They're diving exhibition.
So are they not actually going to be scored?
Correct. Well, their score will count. Obviously not for the Titusville team, though. But Titusville did not have any divers, so Grove City brought 3 girls to dive tonight.
And so they will get credit towards their district scores, qualifications?
Yes.
Up in District 10.
Yes, and they have 2 boys as well from Grove City.
Next up from Butler's Heather Zamudio with a 101A front dive straight position 1.4.
Very nice.
Amy, you competed in the 200 breaststroke and the 100 fly. Any familiarity with diving?
Not very much, no, except for cheering for your teammates.
Front dive, tuck position 1.2.
So what looks like relatively a simple dive is a lot more complicated than what it appears to us.
Absolutely, and each dive has a degree of difficulty, and the more difficult, they multiply that by the judges' scores, so you get a higher score. So even though you may be very good at a simpler dive, somebody who does pretty well at a more difficult dive, they will score
higher than you. And if you're doing a relatively, I don't know what would be a simple dive, a basic dive like they're doing now, you almost have to be flawless.
Correct.
Scores 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. Up next from Grove City.
So far, the highest scores I've seen in diving this season was a Pine Richland gentleman and a Hampton girl. I don't know their names, but I know they were scoring 7s and 8s.
Wow. Now that kind of scoring in swimming is somewhat similar to the scoring that you get in gymnastics on that line.
For diving, yes.
For diving.
Right. Paige has qualified for WPILs in diving from our team.
That looked pretty perfect to me.
That was a very nice dive. Yes, that's the scores.
Katie Walters up next from the Shannon with the 101B forward dive, height position 1.3. Scores 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Now there's no high diving in high school.
No. Just 1 meter diving.
Front 1.5, tuck position.
It's a thing I remember from diving when I was a kid. I used to go in feet first. It was the best way
Right.
for me.
Absolutely.
I give these kids a lot of credit for what they do. Very nice.
In college, I believe they have 1 meter and 3 meter diving.
Up next from Butler is Evan Randall with a 103C.
Evan has qualified for WPILs as well.
So is all the practice for diving done strictly in a pool, or do you do any with a net and ropes or anything like that?
They do some
They
of that
do?
outside, yes. A lot of strength training as well.
I would imagine that that's incorporated. Now with the swimmers, they still like the morning workouts and diving the same thing. Diving twice a day.
I'm not sure about that. I know the swimmers usually have 2 morning practices a week, and then they're in the weight room 2 to 3 times a week as well.
And you don't often see the divers competing in the other events, swim events.
Not so much, but our team, our boys' team is very small this year. So we've had some of the divers step up and help out in the relays, like John and Jack in particular.
So their work becomes twofold. They have to get all their diving in, and then the endurance with the other swim
Right.
meets.
So diving counts as one individual event. Each swimmer is allowed to do 2 individual events.
These kids must have tremendous caloric appetites and intake for all the time they spend in the pool.
John Henson's up from Butler with a 103C. Front 1.5.
John is a fantastic diver. He is
Jonathan
qualified.
Hansot,
Yes, he is a senior.
Evan Randolph, and Paige Williams, all qualifying divers. Well, he got excellent elevation
Yes.
off the board.
Excellent scores.
7.0, 7.5. Jack Eagles up next for Butler with a
John is going to dive at Clarion University next year.
1.6.
It seems in the last few years, we've had outstanding swimmers like Maggie Brewer from Mars, who's at Virginia Tech. Like, the opportunities and the scholarships available for girls in Division I is really
It's
outstanding.
amazing, yes. Not so much for the boys, but
That's due to the Title
Yes.
IX and evening the scholarships up.
as a matter of fact, my husband, before he came to coach here, he had coached at Duquesne University for 7 years for the men, and they dropped the men's team. But it was a blessing because now he's here helping build the program, and as you said earlier, our son's a freshman on the team.
4.5, 5.5, 4.5. Heather's up next with a 104C. Front double tuck 2.2.
So far, what's the highest score we've had so far? Have we hit a 7 yet? With
Yes, John had 7.5 and
Okay.
2 sevens, I believe.
Stills 4.0, 4.0, 3.0.
now when her feet hit first, when on her dive, so automatically is 4 about as low you can go in the scoring?
It depends. The 1.5s, they end up in the water feet first.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Scores 3.5, 3.0, 3.5. Gabby's up next with a 103C. Front 1.5. Tuck position 1.6.
So when the announcer says 1.6, that's the degree of difficulty. And then they multiply that by the judges' scores.
I see. So 1.6 on a scale of what difficulty? What's the highest level of difficulty? Does it go up to?
That I'm not sure about.
Okay, 401C, inward dive, tuck position, 1.4. Score is 6.0,
6.0.
It's a good score.
104C, forward 2 somersault, tuck position.
This is Paige Williams.
Yes. Very
That was
nice.
pretty good.
Yes, it was.
Amy, let me ask you, is there a disadvantage to maybe being too tall for diving, like taller than 5'7" or 5'8"?
Not that I know of.
No?
No.
Forward 1.5, tight position, 1.7.
This is nice.
Score is 7.0, 6.0, 6.0. Ashley will be diving
2 6s and a 7.
7. That's good.
front 2 somersault, tuck position, 2.2.
When you're off 1 point, is that a big disparity, or?
I've been to swim meets where the diving officials are 2 points apart, so
Wow,
it's
it's quite a disparity.
it
there.
is.
Now that dive was meant to be enter feet
Yes.
first.
Mhm.
Score is 3.5, 3.5, 4.5. Evans up next with a 104C, front 2 somersault, tuck position, 2.2.
2.2 level of
So
difficulty.
it's a higher difficulty, yes.
Now, when you enter feet first, does it matter if your legs are bent, or better to go in
They're
straight
supposed to be
leg?
straight. Yeah. That's ideal.
Charlie's up next with a 103C, front 1.5, tuck position, 1.6. Nate's next dive is a 104C, front double, tuck position, 2.2.
Usually they start with lower difficulty dives and then work their way up to their most difficult dives.
So this is a
2.2
2.2.
difficulty. That was Nate Bellis.
Score is 5.5.
He's very close to qualifying for Whippeals. His highest is a 170, and it's 175 to qualify, so we're hoping tonight. Unfortunately, we won't know the scores till about halfway through the meet.
Boy, I see some pretty top scores here.
Yeah.
All 9s or better. That was very difficult. Great elevation to make that work.
Score is 6.5, 7.0, 6.5.
That was great with the degree of difficulty.
Best score so far this evening, 2 6.5s and 1 7.0.
There were,
Was there one
John
better?
had a 7.5.
Okay. He went in pretty straight.
Leading off round 3, Abby from Grove City with a 401C, inward dive, top position 1.4.
Those are inward dives when they start backwards on the diving board and dive inward.
6.5, 6.0. Heather's up next with a 5-1-2-2-D, front somersault, 1 twist, 1.9.
And when they put their feet on that, they're twisting that little wheel. That's for
Changing the tension on the
on the
board.
board.
Yeah, they know where each of their dives where they like it best.
I would have serious back problems to try that one.
Yeah.
5.0, 3.0.
Just take a lot of confidence to get to that point where your courage is pretty secure in what you're doing.
Yeah, especially if you've ever hit the board.
And I'm sure that happens.
Absolutely.
Gabby's next dive is a 104C, front 2 somersault, tuck position 2.2.
2.2. But we go up above 3, level of difficulty.
That I'm not sure about.
Score 6.0, 5.0, 5.5.
If you notice, the girls' AAA qualifying score is 190 and the boys is 175, so it's higher for the girls.
Amazing. Now, why would that be?
Probably there are more girls in the event, so they have to
Competing.
filter them out. Yes.
Score is 5.0, 5.0, 4.5. Paige's next dive is a 203C, back 1.5, tuck position 2.0.
I believe he said 4.0.
2.0.
2.0.
Yeah. That's very nice.
That was very good.
Little over rotation at the end, but very nice.
I'm glad you saw that. I didn't notice anything wrong with it.
Those are good scores.
Katie's up next with a 104C, forward 2 somersault, tuck position 2.2.
And she was almost like going backwards when she hit, so that will cost her in the score.
Yes.
Ashton's up next with a 5-1-2-2-D.
And if they were to do the wrong dive or totally miss what they were supposed to do, they'll get a fail dive.
Now, they get so much time once they step on the board that they have no
They can
time.
They can take as much time as they want.
That looked
That was
very
nice.
good.
Score 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. Evans up next with a 403C, inward 1.5, tuck position 2.2.
He looks pretty tall.
He is. Very nice.
Very good. That might be the best dive we've seen this evening.
Pretty close.
Pretty
There's
good.
a 7.5. 7.5. Unfortunately for Butler, our 3 top boys are all seniors, so they'll be gone after this year.
So you have to find new ones. How far down does a program go? You into 7th, 8th grade?
No, just ninth. Ninth and up, yeah. Although the coach, Ken Bedford, does train, he not only trains Butler, he trains knock divers as well because they don't have a pool. But he has a lot of younger kids that train with him.
So just looking at the diving aspect, where do you find the kids to dive?
Gymnastics a lot.
You go out to the
Some-
gymnastic clubs and try
Yeah.
to recruit?
That's where a lot of them come from. Some of them just, hey, I walk in, I want to try to dive. And Ken is the best coach around for diving.
Imagine as a diving coach, you have to have an awful lot of patience
Oh, yes.
to build confidence in them. It appeared at the end he just didn't get his lower body
The rotation over, yeah.
rotation. Good term.
John's up next with a 5132D, front 1.5, 1 twist, 3 position 2.2.
Very nice.
Very difficult, very smooth.
7, 6, 5, 6, 5. Good scores.
Jack's next dive.
Going back to Ken, he also dove here. He was a diver. He's in the 300 club. His name's on the board over there.
I remember.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to ask the judges who scored, someone had a 7 and the other one a 6.5. What was the difference that they saw?
Right. It's subjective, definitely.
201B, back dive, tight position 1.6.
They have 6 rounds of diving, so each diver does 6 rounds, or 6 dives.
That looked
Very
pretty
nice.
good. So with
Sevens.
divers, do they work more strength training with their legs and their abs?
Yes.
1C, reverse dive, tuck position 1.6.
Amy, do you know why would you want more tension on a board as compared to less? Just individual
Sometimes you
preference?
Get, yeah, you get more bounce, more lift.
Boy, she finished
And as you get more,
really nice.
yes, you did.
Nice tuck.
Very little splash.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You
Yep.
notice the good ones, the entry is
Right.
so smooth.
That's another thing judges are looking for. Yeah.
Aaron is a 201A, back dive, straight position 1.7.
She's a little flat on that. Didn't have her legs extended.
His next dive is a 302C, reverse, 1 somersault, tuck position 1.5. 5.6.
Those ones make me nervous. They get a little close
Yes,
to the board.
very close. When I watch that Olympic diving, I just think they have to be the most courageous people to go off. Is it the three?
Well, the 10 meter, and they do the platform diving too.
Oh, that's the one I'm talking about.
Right.
Page's next dive is a 403C inward 1.5, tuck position 2.2.
So this is a higher difficulty.
Whoa, perfect, but
was
she
very
was so
nice.
close to
Yeah.
that board. Too close
Excellent
for comfort.
scores. 7.5s. Excellent.
3.75.
Yes.
I was
And
outstanding.
Paige did very well at WPILs last year as a freshman diver, so I know she's hoping to better that this year. And she's on the right track.
That was terrific.
Yeah. Those twists are hard. I've seen a lot of good diving here tonight.
So it's not just when we think of swimming, oh, the kids are going to go just to Florida and Arizona and California. There are a lot of swimming programs around the Big Ten, Pitt itself, that
even
are outstanding.
mid-majors like Duquesne. Very nice.
Nice elevation.
6.5, 7.0, 6.5. Evans up with a 203C, back 1.5, tuck position 2.0.
Oh, very nice.
Nice. He really straightened out
Yep.
coming in. Now, when I was in high school, the swim coach was one of our assistant football coaches.
Oh, wow.
And George Stranson, and he was tough as nails. So he brought that mentality with him
Right.
to the swimming pool.
Right. My husband and I, when we swam at Edinburgh, our coach, swim coach, was an ex-football coach from Oil City. They called him the Bear.
Oil City.
Yeah. Paul Sam. He was tough, too.
And what year were you at Edinburgh?
We were there from 89 to 93.
That's funny you mentioned Oil City. That was my first teaching coaching job
Oh, wow.
a few years back.
Yeah. Ooh, didn't
Kind
quite
of
get over enough,
didn't-
yeah.
Right.
That dive's been tough for him this year. He's hit it sometimes and sometimes not.
I'm sure, like in any coaching, at times you have to drive them, and other times you have to be like a psychologist and
Right.
pump their
Oh, yeah.
egos up a little bit.
Right. And a parent. And it's tough.
Amy, I know
Good.
swimmers go around almost year-round, but when I was in high school, one of my football teammates was an outstanding swimmer, Tom McGrath. So he would, during the summer, he was swimming, he was working out for
Right.
football. How much time is too much time in a pool that you notice, hey, these kids need a break?
Swimming is year-round now. Like most sports, if you're not swimming year-round, other people are passing you by. Most of the more elite swimmers on our high school team also swim U.S. swimming. So they compete on weekends. They compete all year round. In the spring and summer, it's long course. They switch from short course yards like this pool to 50 meters long course, like the length of pit.
So when do they get a break? Do you ever worry about the burnout factor?
They get a break in April usually, and sometimes at the end of August before you start up again in September.
Very nice. In other words, with all that time, you better like it.
Yeah. Oh, you better love it. Better love your chlorine. Swimming has changed, just like most sports. You know, when I swam, we swam recreationally in the summer, you know, and then mostly from August to about March, and then we had all spring
Was
off.
it back then you had a lot of country club swim teams in the summer?
Yeah, and just local aquatics clubs. And by the time I was getting into high school, they had started this U.S. swimming. And now it's, you have your elite swimmers are swimming year-round.
So when you say that's equivalent to like the AAU in basketball
Correct.
and the other
Yes.
sports, track.
Yes.
5-2-1-1A, back dive, 1/2 twist, straight position, 1.8.
Sounds difficult.
I believe this is their last round of dives.
Okay, now it's Grove City High School that doesn't have their own pool. Is that correct?
I believe they do.
They go to the Y.
Or maybe they do go to the Y. Maybe you're
because
right.
they won the state championship last year. Had a number of kids I had to coach on. A number of
Yes.
kids that went to had St. Bonaventure and a few other schools. They had some scholarships.
Yes.
They're outstanding swim
Yes.
team. Now, when they enter like that, do their feet have to be touching?
They should be together.
If they're separated, they
right,
lose
they're
points.
deducted points, right.
Somersault, straight position, 1.7.
Going back to the swimming, there's different goals for high school versus U.S. swimming. High school, you're trying to qualify for the WPIL meet, your district meet, and then ultimately the state meet. For U.S. swimming, there's sectional meets, which are regional, and then your goal is to make it to the junior national meet, and ultimately the senior national meet where you're swimming against Olympians. So that's Laura Gettler.
She did that not too long ago.
Yeah, she placed 5th at junior nationals.
Against
Fantastic.
19 and 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, no, they were 18 and under, but she was only 15. That's junior nationals, 18 and under. But she qualified there for senior nationals, and that's where she went in December at Columbus, and she was competing against Olympians. And she made it back in the finals.
And
for
that's
that.
where you get noticed by the college
Absolutely.
coaches.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That
my.
was great.
What a twist that was.
Oops. 8, highest score we've seen all
Sit.
night.
Very good. Well deserved.
Paige, great goal.
Katie's up next with a 3-1C. Reverse dive, tuck position, 1.6.
That was her high score all season. Great height.
She had her feet together.
Right.
7.0, 6.5, 7.0. Ashton's up next with a 5-2-2-3 dean, back, 1 somersault, 1.5 twist, 3 position, 2.3.
Do you do much swimming yourself these days?
Not at all. Enough to get wet.
Yeah.
I love watching it.
So with you have a kid in swimming, and how often you making these runs to the grocery stores to keep up the
Very
goodies?
often. Well, I have my youngest son is 11. He swims for the Butler YMCA. So between the two of them, they eat us out of house and home. Swimmers.
Do you worry about that they have to have a certain diet, protein level, or just let them eat whatever they want?
Well, we try. They should be eating high protein. They definitely need their carbs, but the right kind of carbs.
That was fast.
Yeah.
That was quick. So when you say the right kind of carbs, I mean, you don't. They
Like
get
pastas,
they
and
get that.
rice, baked potatoes. Not the cookies and cake and.
But you know they're going to eat those.
Oh yeah, they're kids.
Absolutely.
That's what we're struggling with in our house.
When they're at school, you
When
don't
they're-
know.
That was great.
Very
height.
nice. 2.65s and a 7.5. Once the scores are given, they're never reversible.
No. Ooh. Close.
Yeah. He just didn't get
Two
the
full
extra.
double. Yeah, that's tough.
Now, when you look at judges, like I know for other sports, football, basketball, or umpires, coaches will go, having been a coach, oh my God, he's on the game. So you get the same reputation with some judges
yeah.
here. Like, oh, we
Absolutely.
got so-and-so on. He's a
Right.
tough nut.
Right. They'll do things like watch relay starts very carefully. The person coming in has to have their hands on the wall before the next one. And sometimes, the takeoffs are questionable if they started too early. That's my favorite dive.
Terrific.
John's. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Terrific. That was Jonathan.
Yes.
Hands up.
Hands hot. 7.775.
Now, you don't ever see a swimming coach go down to the judges and say, you blew that. You don't? Do you?
Sometimes, sometimes the coach will see an early takeoff and the judges don't, and it's very apparent, and, and they can contest it, but usually it's not overturned. Very nice.
Boy, I was tight
Yes.
coming off.
Yeah. That was Jack. Jack's also qualified for
Jack Regal.
WPILs. Yeah. So we have 3 boys that qualified. And Paige Williams.
Paige Williams, Jack Regal, Evan Randolph, and Jonathan Hansot
Yes.
have all qualified.
And I believe their competition's next weekend. It's always a weekend before the swimming competition.
Now, is North Allegheny still the power in
Oh, yeah.
swimming? Did they not win the state championship last year?
They did. They have 4 boys. Talking about the junior national swim meet, they have the national record. They broke the national record.
Wow.
Very talented.
How does one become a judge in swimming? Do you have to have been a former coach or?
No, but they usually are former swimmers, former coaches, and they have to take classes, become certified.
Now, with some of the other swimming events, there's a lot of electronic devices used.
Yes,
correct?
there's electronic touch pads, and you have backup timers. They hit a plunger in case the swimmer doesn't touch the touch pad And you also have a timer with stopwatch in case the equipment
So
fails.
that eliminates any controversy of who
Correct.
won or who
Right.
came in second.
Right.
Inward 1.5, tuck position 2.2.
The judges officially have the say of who's places first, second, third, and then they go secondly by the time.
I see.
Yep. That was close.
That was very close.
Yeah.
Score 6.0,
Good score.
5.5. Adriel is up next with a 301B reverse dive, height position 1.7.
It sounds complicated. Reverse dive,
Yeah.
pike position. I could see we're working on a trampoline with the apparatus
Yes.
about getting your body straight, tight on your
Definitely.
tucks.
Yep.
1 somersault, 2 twists, 2.3.
This is a difficult dive. Paige is doing 2.3 difficulty.
A somersault, and a two twists.
2 twists.
Paige Williams.
Yes. Nice.
That looked pretty good to
Yes.
me. Now, the fact that her right hand was a little bit away from her body, does that mean anything, Amy?
They'll probably deduct.
Boy,
some
everything
points.
has to be just so
Oh, yeah.
tight and
Perfect.
streamlined.
Wow. 8. Woo!
8-0, 7-5, and what was the other one?
7.
7. Boy, they went right
Without
down the
doing the
line.
math, I can probably tell you this was her best
Next up
night
is
of her
Katie
diving
with
career.
a 201C back dive, tuck position 1.5.
So when she moved that up, that's more or less tension moving it up?
Less.
Less. Well, everything was tight. Her
Yeah.
hands were to her side. Her feet were together.
Score is 7.5, 7.0, 6.0.
Yeah, so you have a point and a half
I don't
difference
agree with
there.
the 6.0. I just don't agree. Even the cameraman, our cameraman Carmen, questioned that scoring. And he knows less than I do about swimming.
Wow, that was really
Very,
nice.
boy, the elevation on
Yeah.
that. So with some of these dives, if you don't get the elevation,
Right.
almost difficult to finish.
Definitely.
Evan's last dive tonight is a 204C back, double somersault, tuck position 2.2.
This is a tough one. Double somersault.
Cup position.
So tuck, his knees will be in. Well, he got all the way over. Very nice.
Now, how much do you work, the mind-body connection? I used to try to do some of this with baseball, the visualization. Not only do you practice, you have to go home, you have to visualize. Do you work on that, too?
Oh, yeah. With swimming, I know. I'm not sure about the diving. I would assume in diving,
Diving,
definitely.
very much so, to picture
I know they go
themselves.
through their motions off the board
Okay.
as far as twists and tuck. And
Well, that looked good until the end when he leaned
Yeah.
to the left.
Score is 3.5, 3.0, 3.5. Nate's up next with a 301C reverse reverse dive, tuck position, 1.6.
Does a lot of the warming up done stretching in the locker room, or actually they do
No, in the pool. Yeah,
they're
they
going to
do
give them some
stretching,
time.
but yeah, they'll have usually a couple minutes. Wow, that was beautiful.
Solid entry. Tight.
Score 6.0, 6.0, 6.5.
Each team has roughly half an hour or so to warm up before the diving competition starts.
Okay, and then they'll get
And they'll
about
get
5
in,
minutes
yeah,
after the diving.
Get wet, stretch out a little bit after sitting and watching the diving.
Yeah, it seems like warm up and then sitting for a long period
Right,
of time.
it's not good. Wow, very nice.
Let me ask you, Amy, like in track, having coached track, like if I'm down with the jumpers, then another area you have the throwers. Is it not compatible to run both the diving and the regular swim meet at the same time?
No, they're considered separate events, and you want the audience's respect, the quiet, you know, swimming
For the
tends to be-
diving,
yeah,
I
swimming
see.
gets very loud with the cheering and
Diving's like putting. No one.
yeah, right, the golf clap. Butler's pretty unique. We have one of the nicer facilities.
Very
most
nice.
pools do not have a separate diving well, so you have to move lanes. Wow,
Very
fantastic,
nice.
Jack.
This pool
Right.
and North Allegheny's pool are the two best pools around, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, our pool's shallow, so it's not one of the faster pools, but having the
So when
separate
you
diving.
when you say shallow, you mean the actual 6 lanes?
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
Yes.
what would be the
deeper-
difference between the
deeper
depth
water,
here and
you have you tend to have calmer water,
and
less
better
resistance.
and that'll increase your time?
Yes.
That's
yes.
something I did not know.
Yes.
So you say North Allegheny has
A
all
deep
these.
pool.
They have a deep pool. I've seen the pool. I didn't know anything about the depth
Yes.
differential.
Yes.
Coaches of both teams for their time.
We're going to have about a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back after this.
I'd like to thank GIGABIT officials on hand for tonight's matchup.
In 1997, Armstrong introduced Zoom Internet, and it was quickly praised for its speed and reliability. Over the years, it has remained the area's best internet choice because of our commitment to evolution, network quality, and award-winning customer service. We'd like to thank our customers for being part of the Zoom Internet journey. 2 decades of innovation from one of the nation's best service providers. The future is faster with Zoom.
We are back, Ed Cody and Amy Bocci. And Amy, let's go down through, in case our audience did not hear the swimmers, let's review the
divers.
girls in the 1-meter diving. We're going to name the 6, and then they went through a sequence of 6 dives.
yeah.
In this order: Erin Schwartzfeger of Grove City, Abby Shipton of Grove City, Paige Williams of Butler, Adriella White of Grove City, Gabby Lucas of Butler, and Heather Zamudio of Butler. And then for the boys, 1 through 6, Charlie Nesbitt, Grove City, Ashton Howard of Grove City, Evan Randolph of Butler, Nate Bellis of Butler, John Hansott of Butler, and Jack Regal of Butler. So if you're paying attention in the diving, when you see it, they went through that particular order and sequence. Now we'll get ready here for the pool events, and we will start with the 200 medley relay.
The Butler kiddos are in the even lanes, 2, 4, and 6, and Titusville are there in the odd lanes, 1, 3, and 5.
And Amy, repeat for our listeners what you told me about these bathing suits, a difference where you see some of them with their suits extended to the knees.
Okay, most of the kids still have team suits on. The ones that are extended to the knees, those are called technical suits. Those are the particular kids that are trying to qualify for WPILs tonight. They have 2 chances left, tonight and Thursday's night against Seneca Valley. The technical suits are give you an advantage in the water as far as your buoyancy and aerodynamics. So they typically help you drop your time.
And you're not running into some general department store and grabbing these because they cost
no.
what?
Between the boys are $300-400. The girls can go up to $500.
The advance of technology is just amazing.
Yes,
how
absolutely.
people think of these things and come up with these things.
Also, you'll notice the faster swimmers are typically in the middle lanes. So your lanes 3 for Titusville and lane 4 for Butler. You get the best water in the pool.
So if you have the better time, you get those middle
lanes,
slots.
right.
Okay.
The end lanes tend to have more resistance with the wall.
It's almost like getting the post in racing and track. So this first event will be the 200 medley relay for the girls, and the favorite here. Butler 2, 4, and 6 lanes, the even lanes. Titusville 1, 3, and 5.
Swimming for Butler. And lane number 2, Morgan Castillo, Megan Solder, Katie Knights, and Ellie Weiss. For Titusville, lane 3, Jasmine Young, Amy Bordelli, Kate McAllister, and McKenna Howe. In lane 4 for Butler, Abby Griffith, Emma Weiss, Rachel Griffith.
All right, so this is Abby Griffith in lane 4 in the lead right now for Butler, and also in lane 2, Morgan Castillo. This is Laura Gettler in the water now, the reigning 200 IM championship at Whitfields last year.
She won a gold and a silver, and then took another silver in the state.
No, in state she placed 9th in the IM and 14th in breast, but WPILs she was 2nd in the 100 breaststroke.
And a gold medal
right.
in the other event.
In the IM, yeah.
And of course, just recently she had some great accomplishments at with
she qualified,
national meets.
Yeah, she swims U.S. swimming. She qualified, or she placed 5th at the junior national meet, which qualified her for senior nationals. And she placed in the top 16
now
in
does
the country.
Coach Dave go with her for all these?
Yes, he's also a U.S. coach. The name of his team is Lake Erie Silver Dolphins. So there's about 5 kids on the high school team that also swim U.S. swimming, which is year-round.
So these times here go against all the other times in the WPIL for
just
right now.
WPIL, right.
Then later it'll go district and state comparison.
Correct. So Butler's previous best time was 1:53.85, so we'll see if they can beat that.
And when you're looking at a gold medal time, it would be what?
Goodness, that's
in this
good
event.
to know. Yeah, nope, they didn't beat their best time, but still won the event. Titusville in 2nd, and Butler's coming in 3rd here.
So the first place time was
1:55.79.
and 1:53 was their best time this year.
Correct.
So that's not too far off.
No. And so in lane 4 now we have my son David Bocci swimming the backstroke. We have Zach Calathan breaststroke, Sam Deemer butterfly, and Alex Deemer. We have 2 brothers on the team. They're actually the last 2 brothers. There were 4 Deemer boys that swam for Butler. So Ryan swims at Ashland University, and Joey's at Shippensburg University.
First family of swimming.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. Once again, Butler in the even lanes, 2, 4, 6. Now we see the event here. How much more is involved in the practice time involved at this event? Like we talking an hour in the morning, hour after school, or even more?
Well, this is more of a sprint event. Each swimmer does a 50. It's called the medley relay. First does backstroke, then breaststroke, then butterfly, and then freestyle.
And they have to do it in that sequence.
Yes. So the sprint events, they do a different kind of training. You have the hundreds of each stroke. You have the 200s, and then you also have the 500. So it's training different for each event.
And the judge walking up and down alongside the swimmer, what is he looking for?
He's looking to make sure that no one takes off early on a relay start. You get
so
disqualified for that.
They have to touch the wall, and then
Yes.
the next swimmer goes in.
Correct. Now many of them do what's called a step-up start. So they take a step, but the swimmer still has to touch before their feet leave the block, or they're disqualified.
They're disqualified, or the
relay.
The relay's
will be,
disqualified.
Yes. This is a close race here.
And all the meets, Butler meets this year, which team is tops in this event?
Oh, at North Allegheny.
North Allegheny.
Yeah, they're tops in every event.
So what's Dave tell his team when you go up against a top-notch powerhouse like that before the meet?
Well, use them to push yourself and get your best times. You want to get a good seed time for the WPIL meet. The faster you are, the better seed you're going to get. You don't want to really be in an end lane.
Because if I understand you, every time you swim, you're competing against everyone else within the WPIL.
Correct. In that event.
In that event.
Right. Now, for Whippeals, each swimmer has to choose 2 of the events that they've qualified for. They can only swim 2 individuals and 2 relays. Okay, Rachel Ledford for Butler coming up in the 200 freestyle. She's trying to qualify for WPILs.
So the Butler boys won that event too?
Yes.
And I did not. The time up there is blocked from my view.
It's 1:43.96. Rachel's very close to qualifying. Her best time is less than a second. She needs to get a 2 minutes and 3 seconds exactly. So in lane 4 for Butler, we have Rachel Ledford. In lane 2, we have Ellie Weiss. In lane 6, Kendall McClister.
So 4 would be, the middle lane would be the faster time.
This is very hard for me not to cheer. I'm so used to screaming. These kids are like my kids.
Right. So you're jumping up and down, screaming
inside.
and getting involved inside.
Rachel's at a good pace right now. If she can keep it up, she's got a good chance of qualifying.
So when you've done this before, you're in a pool. Can you hear your coach?
You can sometimes. Usually when you're breathing to a certain way, if the coach is on your side, you'll see him, moving his arm, telling you to move along or to kick.
So when you say breathing, what is the trick about breathing?
Well, every swimmer has their own way. In longer events, typically they're breathing every stroke because you need more oxygen.
There's no one technique that you say you should
No,
use?
there's not. Some kids breathe every 3, so they're looking both ways so they can see swimmers on both sides. Some prefer to breathe the same way, the same side each time.
Do you do any conditioning where you just get them in the pool and tell them, okay, submerge and hold it?
Oh, yeah.
And for what's a long time?
They usually swim underwaters.
Okay.
Like lengths underwater.
I'd be good for about 15 seconds.
Oh, Rachel, kick, get in there. It's going to be close. Nope, she didn't quite make it. 2:04.69. Well, she still has Seneca Valley on Thursday.
So this is she's had a much better time than this?
Just 1 second faster.
Okay. And Seneca Valley swim meet is coming up
on Thursday. Yeah, it's at their pool.
So we have team championships. How many teams actually compete? All of them, or
well, that's what the WPIL meet is, your team championship. Yeah.
And so all the teams will compete.
Correct. You have you have AA and AAA. So Butler is in AAA.
AAA.
This will be the boys 200 freestyle. We have Alex Deemer in lane 4 and Mike Milton in lane 2. This is Michael's first year swimming ever. He's doing fantastic.
And he's in what class?
He is a sophomore, I believe. But many of these swimmers have been swimming since they're, little, 6, 7 years old.
In lane 2 for Butler, Michael Milton. In lane 3 for Titusville, Shane Stephanie. For Butler in lane 4, Alex Deemer. For Titusville in
So
lane
with
5,
both you and Dave being swimmers, your kids, well, they had no choice but to be swimmers.
We both said we're not going to push our kids, but if I wanted to see my husband, and David was a baby, I took him to Duquesne, all their swim meets. So he hung out on the pool deck, ended up helping coach Dad, when he was little, and got him in the water, and he was a natural. And our other son said, well, we're all at the pool, you might as well swim too, so.
I used to call that my psych classes conditioning.
Right.
That's a great sport.
It is.
Now, I don't know. You know better than I don't hear of ACL tears. I'm sure there may be some shoulder
There are
problems.
usually some shoulder problems, yeah.
And, of course, the divers hitting the board is another issue.
Shoulders tend to be the biggest problem.
Rotator?
Yeah. Sometimes knees with the breaststroke kick.
Oh, is that right? See, I wouldn't think the knees because of the water would help it, but I could see bringing the arms out of the water in the swimming technique, how that would be a strain.
Right. One thing on these distance events, on their flip turns, they're taught to work their underwaters. So if you notice when Alex does his flip turn here, he's going to do these big dolphin kicks underwater. And
Yeah,
the
that's the
further and
thing.
more streamlined you can get, the less strokes you have to do.
I'm amazing. How's that sense of being close to the wall and when to turn? I mean,
A lot of practice.
Imagine sometimes they're colliding with that wall or do it too late.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes too close, sometimes too far.
So you have to have a sense when you're doing this because you've done it so many times.
Right.
When to take a peek.
Right. The backstroke's the hardest. That's what these flags are for at either end. And in practice, you count at your race pace how many strokes it takes you to get to the wall before you do your flip
And the
turn.
backstroke, I'm lucky if I could float in my back, let alone do a backstroke. That always amazed
Good
me.
job, Michael. All right, so in lane 4, we have the Laura Gettler. She's the Whoopie Old champ last year and broke the record in the 200 IM. She
And
hasn't
only
rested
a
yet.
sophomore.
Only a sophomore, yes. And most of our swimmers haven't rested yet, so they're still in pretty hard training. They'll start resting later
when
this week.
you say resting after the Seneca Valley.
Right. They'll decrease yardage, do more races with more rest in between.
Just let their bodies
recover.
rebound.
Yes.
So Laura's in lane
4.
4.
Yes. And Eve Murhot is in lane 2.
I just think the opportunities for girls in swimming and, of course, soccer, lacrosse, and even basketball, the scholarships and the opportunities are out there for them.
Yeah, definitely. And there's different levels. My husband and I swam Division II. Division II is a great opportunity for a lot of kids.
Looks like she has a commanding lead.
Oh, yes. Last week against North Allegheny, she broke our pool record in the 100 breaststroke.
So that's one event the North Allegheny girls aren't going to beat her
That's
in.
right.
Well, we have some bragging rights.
Right. So this is her best stroke now in this IM, the breaststroke.
Well, she just looks strong.
Oh, yes.
You worry about maybe too much weight training, or is there such a thing? Years ago, they'd never let the swimmers touch their weight. No one's worried about it now, but
they do more than weights too. They do a lot of core strength. Like for breaststrokers, she does a lot of box jumps, build leg strength.
You do the flex bands, the stretch bands.
They do some of that, yeah. Medicine balls.
So I imagine lightweight, a lot of reps would be more important than the heavyweight.
Yeah. Yep, she has a great lead. And Eve Murhot is in second place.
Eve's in 6.
Yes, and Morgan Castile's in lane 6 for Butler. So right now we're 1, 2, 3.
So it was Merhout's in 2 then. Or
I'm sorry, yeah, Merhout's in 2.
Yeah, it's looking like Laura's having her own race.
Yes.
Let's see what that. Trying to catch her time, but
it's 2:06.99.
Sounds pretty fast to me, seeing what they did.
Yeah, it's amazing how much she'll drop at Whippeals. And last year, I believe her time was a 2:01.
Now, is that because the adrenaline's
suits,
pumping
yes,
more and
adrenaline,
it's
the
the
suits,
competition?
the rest, yes, the rest time. So next we have the boys 200 IM. David Bocci is in lane 4, and Simon Deal in lane 2.
And your son is just a freshman.
Yes, just a freshman.
Very good.
He's debating what to compete in Whippeals. This might be one of his events, 200 IM, so he's looking to get a better seed time.
Now,
he's definitely going to do the 500.
Now, your husband does the coaching here, and who does the coaching at home? You do.
Yeah, I know. I'm not very good about that.
You can't resist, though. That's what moms do.
One of those swim moms.
Yeah. Well, he's not gonna argue with you. Otherwise, you're not gonna feed him.
This is true.
Now, is that unusual that one lane would be left open?
No, that's Butler. We only have 8 boys total.
Because of the depth factor.
Right. So we don't have enough to fill out this event.
Swimmers are just some of the most dedicated athletes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't imagine getting up, but I know Maggie Gruber related how getting up at 4 in the morning and dreading it in cold
Yes.
winter mornings.
Oh, yeah.
And then swimming again at night
Right.
after school.
I remember in college walking from morning practice to my first class, my hair was frozen solid, crunchy by the time you got to class.
And that was in October at Edinburgh.
Right, exactly.
I've been up for a couple. That might be the coldest place in
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
yeah. Definitely the most snow. Erie's had record.
What they have 115 inches so
Unbelievable.
far.
So he's trying to better his seed time for Whippeals if this is one of the events he's going to do.
So far he's in the lead in number
Yes.
4. And in lane 2, once again for Butler.
This is Simon Deal. Simon is a trooper. He came out of retirement. He used to swim when he was little for the Y.
You know, regardless of time, I admire any of these kids starting and finishing these events, which appear to be grueling to me.
Right. Oh, they are. The IM is, I want to say, one of the hardest. You're going all out on all 4 strokes.
Okay, and the time? for David?
2:02.63. Not quite as fast as he was hoping for, but
2:03.63.
yeah. So next we have the girls 50 freestyle. The boys 50 free is my favorite. It's just a lot of thunder.
Is that right?
And it's really fast. A lot
Hey, I
of thunder
imagine,
and splashing.
even though this meet will be over at 8 o'clock, that there'll be some late night snacking going on.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to eat at 9, 10 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter.
Up next, event 7, the girls 50-yard freestyle.
Okay, and Butler once again in lanes 2,
So
4,
2, 4,
and 6.
Yeah, lane 4 we have Liz Graham. Lane 6, Alyssa Lamberto, and lane 2, Kate Moss. These are all 3 seniors.
Well, you're going to have to do a lot of replenishing next year with a significant number of boys and girls seniors.
Well, boys diving. We haven't lost any boys swimmers, but yeah, 3 boy divers. That'll be tough.
Well, you're not kidding. That was over.
Yep.
Now this is more power.
Right.
Here. 53. And it happened so fast. Who did finish first?
Titusville, lane 3. McKenna Houck. With a time of 27:83.
Which is good?
Yeah, that's pretty decent. Qualifying now, I believe they're double A, so their time is 26:70, their goal for WPIL.
And she had 27.3.
Yeah, 86.
86.
So she's close. Okay, for Butler, lane 4, we have Zach Calathan. I know he's trying to qualify for WPILs. Cole Kish in lane 6, and John Hansotter, diver, in lane 2. The divers have been great.
Double duty.
Because we don't, double duty, right? We don't have enough boys, so a couple of our divers step in and do some individual events.
I can only imagine his workout regimen between diving and this.
Swimming, yeah.
You have to have a Capital One card just to feed him.
Yeah.
My friend Tom McGrath, who was on a football team with me in high school, as a swimmer, he was 6'3", 215 pounds.
Oh, wow.
He was a big guy, and he was excellent in the water.
Yeah. Swimming used to be a small person sport, but not anymore.
Well, this is I don't want to say how long ago, Amy.
Yeah.
But he was a linebacker and an offensive tackle and a swimmer.
That's impressive.
Went to Penn State for football. I like this race.
Yeah, this is fun. Like I said, it's a lot of splashing and thunder.
When that turn is so important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That explosion off the wall.
It makes or breaks you, yep.
And it looks, boy, this is going to come down to the wire between Butler and Titusville. I think lane 3 won it.
Lane 5 actually did.
Did it? Did he beat him? I know it was close
23-76.
between those two. Okay.
Yep. So lane 5 for Titusville, Zaid Crawford with 23:76. So now the swimmers have a 10-minute break.
And we will take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back with the 100 fly.
In 1997, Armstrong introduced Zoom Internet, and it was quickly praised for its speed and reliability. Over the years, it has remained the area's best internet choice because of our commitment to evolution, network quality, and award-winning customer service. We'd like to thank our customers for being part of the Zoom Internet journey. 2 decades of innovation from one of the nation's best service providers. The future is faster with Zoom.
We are back. Ed Cody along with Amy Bocci as we head into the 100 fly. Once again, Butler in lanes 2, 4, and 6. Titusville 1, 3, and 5.
Since lane 4, we have Abby Griffith. In lane 2, Emma Weiss. They both have qualified for WPILs in this event. This is a beautiful stroke.
McKenna Houck won the 50 free, 27.86 of Titusville. And Dave Crawford of Titusville won the 50 free, 23.76. And as Amy told me during the break, North Allegheny had how many boys that did 20? 3 seconds better? 3. Amazing.
20 point. They're the fastest boys in the country right now for high school swimming.
Now, what's the difficulty about the 100 fly? What's the trick to it?
Well, the butterfly itself is a more difficult stroke. Body position, getting your arms out of the water, takes a very strong kick, and you have to have the right rhythm.
So it's a combination of timing and strength.
Yes. The reason the official did that, they all have to come down at the same time.
Really?
Yes.
That being why? Why is that?
Just make it fair for everybody so no one sees motion and takes off early themselves. So right now in the lead, we have Abby Griffith in lane 4 and Emma Weiss close behind in lane 2.
Now, it seems to me you better have a very strong core to do this when they do the
Absolutely.
arc
And a strong
on that.
kick to get your arms out of the water.
So is there core training? Is it just sit-ups or something beyond that?
They do sit-ups. They do a lot of medicine ball routines. A lot of different, stomach core strength exercises. And Abby Griffith finishing first with a 101.36, and Emma Weiss close behind, a 104.33. Real difficult event in U.S. swimming. They have a 200 butterfly. You have to do 8 laps.
So once again, winning that event for Butler was
Abby Griffith.
Abby Griffith.
Next, the boys 100 butterfly. Swimming for Butler in lane 4, Sam Deemer. And lane 2, Simon Deal.
Of the swimming Deemers, 4 boys.
Yes. Sammy is the youngest.
And the father was a swimmer?
No.
No. Isn't that fun?
Yep. He's our announcer, Rob Deemer.
It seems like some of the swimmers for these events appear to be a little bit stronger, look more developed upper body.
Yeah, especially boys. They all hit their growth spurts at different times. So right now, Sam Deemer for Butler in lane 4, a slight lead over Max McAllister of Titusville in lane 3.
Yeah, these two are going to get down to the wire.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
The turn here is so critical,
Yes.
coming back for the finish.
And they're underwater. That was a nice quick turn by Sam.
Now,
Good underwater.
You have to touch with your
hands.
hands or not your feet.
No, 2 hands on butterfly, 2 hands on breaststroke.
All right, and just a slight lead in lane 4.
Okay, Sam Deemer wins with a
Sam
time
Deemer.
of 55.24. And come on, Simon, get in there. And Simon just got touched out.
The 100 free coming up next, and now we're going to see some speed involved here.
Yes, the 100 free is still considered a sprint event.
So how unusual is it to compete in a speed event and then say a distance?
Typically, swimmers tend to pick either distance
You could
or
do the
sprint,
100 free
but
and the 500?
yes. Most swimmers that do the 500 usually end up doing the 200 free, but there are some swimmers that can do the 100 as well.
So would you approach the 500 free as you would the 100 free, get out fast and stay fast, or you pace yourself?
Typically not pace. You pace, otherwise you'll crash and burn if you go out too fast. So in lane 4 for Butler, we have Katie Knights. She is a freshman this year. In lane 2, Kendall McClister is also a freshman. And lane 6, Alyssa Lamberto.
We're 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, lane 3.
Very close.
For Titusville, McKenna is the one that won the 50 free.
She's just ahead by a few strokes. Great turn she made. Lane 4 and lane 5 head to head. And we just see a little bit of a pull away here by 3. Oh, she is really finishing strong, Amy. She is really. 4 and 5. I think Titusville won 3 and 5.
Yes, they did. Titusville 3 and 5, first and second place. First place, McKenna Hauk at 101.24.
She's strong.
Okay, up next, the boys 100 freestyle. For Butler, lane 4, David Bocci, and lane 2, Cole Kish. David will be swimming against Zaid from Titusville, who won the 50 free.
Now, do they take any fluids during the meet? Like
yes,
Gatorade?
water, Gatorade.
But no solids. Would never eat it.
Sometimes. Usually not during a high school meet. It's only 2 hours. But U.S. meets will definitely.
And the solid would be what, a protein bar?
Protein bars, peanut butter and jelly, bananas. Close between lane 3 and 4. David, lane 4 for Butler. Lane 3, Zaid of Titusville. These turns are always critical on these sprint events.
Oh, we're going to have a real race here to the finish.
Yes, David's breathing the other side. He can't see the kid on his right-hand side.
Great turn, did David.
So David Bocci first with the 50.44, and Zaid in second with 52.55.
Pretty good for a freshman.
Thank you. He works very hard. So next we have our distance event, the 500.
This is just amazing to me.
20 laps.
Oh my goodness.
It's so long they have to have counters at the end of each lane, so you don't lose your count on how many laps you've done.
I have done 20 laps, one each year for the last 20 years. I couldn't imagine building up the endurance to do that.
Event number 15, the girls 500-yard freestyle.
So in lane 4 for Butler, we have Ellie Weiss, and lane 2, Abby Griffith.
For Butler in lane 2, Abby Griffith, in lane 3 for Titusville,
So good start, but not so fast too soon.
Well, Abby's never swam the 500 in a high school meet, so
is that right?
I don't have a time to base her off of. Yeah, so this is her first time swimming in a high school meet. And when a coach does that with the fist, that means you're at a good pace.
So this 500, I would imagine you'd say don't let those early leads fool you.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely not. Because sometimes the swimmer will go out super fast and then they don't have the endurance to
wall.
bring it back.
You hit the wall.
You hit the wall. That's right. Normally how you train for this, I know because my son, this is his best event, the 500. They train by 50s. So they'll do like a set of 10 50s or 20 50s, and you have to hold a certain pace, like 28s.
One after the other, you
One
mean?
after the other, yeah. With a little rest in between. But in a race, the coaches take the split times. After every 50 they hit the wall, you'll see up on the scoreboard, you'll see splits. It'll tell you what their 50 time was. And that helps the coach know if they're on pace or if they need to pick it up or if they need to back it off a little bit.
So I hate to bring up this aspect of swimming, but what happens when someone chucks up lunch or dinner in a pool? Now what do you do? And that, you know,
Well,
that happens.
That's funny you said that. 2 years ago at the YMCA state meet, Paige Hetrick, it was my son's age, she is one of the best female swimmers in Western PA. She's from Bradford. She swam the 200 free, broke the pool record or the meet record, and threw up in her lane. And my son was standing right behind her. He was to go next in her lane, and he's looking up at us in the audience like, help.
Did they clean a pool?
Yeah, they had to clean it.
And what do you use, a net or something to
They
clean
use
it?
nets and chemicals, and yeah, I delayed the meet for a while. That's the only time I've ever seen it happen in the pool. Most
Never
of the times
happened to
the
you in all
swimmers
the
make
years
it.
you were swimming?
No, in practice sometimes, but not in a race.
I knew used to happen out in the football field in those early morning practices quite often.
I'm sure. So Abby is in the lead here.
Abby in lane 2.
And Ellie in lane 4 for Butler. And Liz Graham in lane 6.
Now, with it seems to be she has a pretty good lead. So, does the coach push her or tell her you got to?
He'll, if you watch him, if he does the fists, that means hold your pace. If he's doing the move
this.
along with the arm swing, that means you need to pick it up. Sometimes he'll do the kick motion, like you need to kick more.
He's like like he's working for PennDOT.
Right, yeah, kick. So he's doing the kick motion right now, yeah. The swimmers tend to, as you get tired, forget to kick. And that kick's really going to help move you along.
I could see why you talked about the practice with the 10 50s or 20 50s in order to build this endurance.
Definitely. They'll do hundreds too. Sometimes, 10 100s. So the more you do that, when you get to the 500, it's actually a lot less than what you've been practicing.
But boy, one after the other.
Yeah. So Abby has 5 laps left.
They'll be tired after this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you do this, likely that they would compete in another event?
Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, the dilemma
Of depth.
Well, sometimes, like for example, at Whippy's, the 500 free, the 100 backstrokes right after the 500 free. And, what if that's your 2 best events? They're back to back.
You get no break.
You get very little break, yeah. So
amazing.
It's tough.
But especially if your competitor was sitting out that.
Exactly, and they're fresh. So that whistle means that
Final.
the swimmer that's in the lead, has 2 laps left. Yes, final 2 laps.
Now, being in the water every day with the chemicals in there, the dryness to the skin and the hair, what do you do to counteract that? You should know the tricks by now.
Good showers, lots of lotion. All right, Abby finished.
Strong finish.
With a 5:35.97. That's why a lot of swimmers, their hair looks bleached, because it is.
Being in that water every day. Well, they wear caps, so that gives them some protection.
Right.
I'm surprised more of the boys just don't shave their heads.
Some of them do. Some of them do for the district, the Whippio meet or state meet.
There has to be some huffing and puffing going on down there.
20 laps. All right, so for the boys, 500 for Butler in lane 4, Alex Deemer. Alex made the state meet last year in the 500. This is one of his best events. And Tanner Wittmeyer in lane 2, he's a freshman, and Michael Milton in lane 6.
Now, Craig, is this Alex's third event?
No. He was in the
second.
relay. This is his second. He did the 200 freestyle.
And then he'll probably be in the 400.
Relay.
Be his third event.
Yeah.
Up next, event 16, the boys 500-yard freestyle.
Once again, Butler in the lane, even lanes 2, 4, and 6.
For Titusville in lane 1, Troy Ford, lane 2 for Butler, Tanner Wittmeyer, lane 3 for Titusville, Shane Steffen, lane 4 for Butler, Alex Deemer, lane 5 for Titusville.
See, they get a little help at the end, some visionary direction.
Yeah, that's counting their laps for them. So Alex Deemer out in the early lead for Butler in lane 4.
Let's hope those guys with the signs all do well in math class. Now this would be considered a pretty strong lead, would it not?
Yes.
Well, you're not kidding. The parents are over here. It's the women are doing all the yelling.
Oh, yeah. It's the swim moms. So now Tanner's getting the let's pick up the pace move from Coach Bocci.
They ever come out and say, Coach, I never saw anything. I didn't see any signs. You get that too?
No.
No.
They know they're supposed to be looking.
Coming up to number 9. Looks like they just, all of them are just slowed down a tad.
A little bit, yeah. You tend to go out a little faster on your first 50.
Deemer in lane 4.
He's halfway through now.
Halfway through. Rolling.
It's amazing they can swim 20 laps in less than 5 minutes.
I don't know who builds up more endurance, these swimmers in an event like this, or cross-country runners or distance runners.
I would say those are probably the top two for endurance. Now in college they have and U.S. swimming, they have the 1,000 which is 40 laps, and then you have the mile, which is 66 laps.
66
Yes.
laps. I'll be in the pool all day long.
What do you figure there?
66
practices,
laps.
A lot of practices, they're swimming 8,000 yards a day.
I don't drive that far in the mornings to get coffee. That's astounding.
Yeah.
66. I'm going to have to watch next time. I can't imagine that. So we're coming up to lap 17 for Deemer. So we're looking at that. He has a 2-lap lead then. Would that be correct?
Not quite.
No?
The Shane Steffi for Titusville in lane 3's not. He's about, I'd say, a lap behind him.
Okay. So it's closer than what I think.
Right. So now that's the
Here's
signal.
where
Two
our
laps
last two.
left. Right.
Here's where the endurance kicks in. And what you have left for a kick here, a lot like those mile runners and distance runners do, like a little kick at the end.
Right.
Well, there's one mom here screaming, I'd want to win.
Okay, Alex Deemer with a 4:52.34. And Shane from Titusville finishing second with a 5:01.83.
Impressive by both the girls and the boys for this 500 free.
Yes, it is. And Tanner Wittmeyer for Butler's coming in here third with a 5:22.57.
Coming up to 200 free relay. 4 events remaining in this meet.
Yeah, there's 3 relays total. You have, at the beginning of the meet, you have the 200 medley, which is 2 laps of each stroke. This next relay coming up is 4 laps of 50, 2 laps of freestyle for 4 members, and then the final relay is the 400 relay. Each person does a 100 freestyle.
These boys look tired getting out of the pool.
And we have a difficult pool to get out of. It's pretty high.
So when they build a pool, that's amazing what you told me before the meet about the depth of the pool. I thought all pools would be the same. I didn't know there was a difference there.
Yes.
Now, is there a reason why there seems to be a little bit of a delay here?
There's a swimmer in lane 5. I'm not quite sure what he's doing.
I didn't notice.
He just swam his way to the other end of the pool.
Next, event 17, girls 200-yard freestyle relay.
All right, the girls 200 freestyle relay.
In lane 4 for Butler, we have Liz Graham, Eve Murhott, Katie Knights, and Ellie Weiss. And in lane 2, Kate Moss, Megan Soldner, Alyssa Lamberto, and Kendall McClister.
In lane 3 for Titusville, Sarah Kowalczyk, McKenna Howe.
It's like swimming the length of the football field twice.
Yes.
For Butler, Liz Graham, Eve Murhott, Katie Knights, and Ellie Weiss. In lane 5 for Titusville, Sierra Baker, Lexi Couch, Samantha Bridger, and Eve Era Dieter.
Butler in the lead in lane 4.
So this is Eve Murhott in the water for lane 4, and in lane 2 in the water for Butler, Megan Soldner.
So during practice, the girls only compete with the girls. They don't ever would do something like this, competing against boys in practice.
Oh, in practice.
They
yeah,
do?
They practice together, the boys and the girls. Water for Butler, and lane 4 is Katie Knights finishing up. And the anchor of the relay is Ellie Weiss in lane 4.
So it appears it's just about dead even between
Yes.
Butler and Titusville. Lanes 3 and 4
That was a good turn
coming
for
back.
Ellie.
Very good.
Nice turn. That put her in the lead. So looks like Butler will take it first place with 153.76.
Girls come into this meet with a record of 3 and 6. The boys 5 and 4.
Finishing up in lane 2 for Butler was Kendall McClister. So the 2 boy relays coming up, this is where it really hurts Butler as far as points. We only have 1 relay. Titusville has 3. So they're going to get a lot of points. We just don't have the depth on our boys' side.
Up next, event 18, boys 200-yard freestyle relay.
So 1, 3, and 5 Titusville, and lane 4 only Butler.
In lane 4 we have Zach Califan.
For Titusville, in lane 1,
Amy, with so much emphasis on individual accomplishments, team championships and that, and records become secondary, or is that a misconception that the swimmers really care about winning the meet or just winning their individual
Some
event?
of them get very emotional winning the meet. You know, it's a competition, so they still have the team.
Right, to say that your team was the WPL champs or the state champs would be
that's pretty big, yeah.
pretty big.
But at this, at the same time, you're also as an individual trying to better your times. So you kind of get both, get the individual and the team aspect. The relays really help with the team aspect.
So the scoring for the relays is 8, 4, and 2. And this is why here Butler and only in one lane.
Right.
How
that's
that
really going to hurt us. Yeah.
Skewer the scoring.
Yep.
Now, when you were swimming, you ever have an episode where you got a cramp during the event?
Oh, yeah.
And you do what?
You just try to force your way to the end. And then get out, drink lots of water. So that was Titusville in lane 3, finishing with a time of 1:37.31. And Butler in second, lane 4, 1:44.04.
That will bring us up to the 100 backstroke. I would think one of the more strenuous events, the backstroke.
You definitely have to have a feel of the water, body position on your back. Some swimmers don't keep their heads back far enough.
And when you keep the head
Their
back,
body
you
drops,
keep
your
the
bottom drops.
back arched.
Right.
Okay.
Next up, event
Otherwise, if you do it the other way, then your
You're sinking.
derriere becomes a drag.
Yes, exactly.
So much a matter of physics for this.
It is. So for Butler in lane 4, we have Rachel Ledford. Lane 2, Emma Weiss. And lane 6, Morgan Castile.
here at lane 2 for Butler, lane 3 for Titusville, Jasmine Young. Lane 4 for Butler, Rachel Ledford. Lane lane 5 for Titusville, Emma Zion. Lane 6 for Butler, Morgan Castillo.
So Butler ahead in all 3 lanes, 2, 4, and 6. Now this is incredible, how to know when to turn.
Yeah, so you have to, the backstroke
Someone's coaching
flags
you.
are hanging. You have to count, look up at the flags. You have to know how many strokes it takes you to get to the wall before you do your flip.
Amazing. I mean, this is one sport you need to have your brain in gear.
Yes,
To what, and so
definitely.
observant of your surroundings and what's going on.
So finishing first for Butler, Rachel Ledford with a 104.98. Second for Butler, Emma Weiss. And third, so Butler got 1, 2, and 3. So third for Butler, Morgan Castillo.
A sweep for Butler.
So for the boys,
So Butler will pick up 13 points there.
yes.
The girls.
For Butler, the boys 100 backstroke, lane 4, Sam Deemer, and lane 2, Tanner Wittmeyer. Sam was the winner of the 100 butterfly. This is another strong event for him, probably his second strongest in high school swimming. And Tanner Wittmeyer in lane 2 for Butler.
And no one for Butler in lane 6.
No.
Event 20, boys 100-yard backstroke.
Boys 100 backstroke. Butler in lanes 2 and 4.
For Titusville in lane 1, Zach Burton. In lane 2 for Butler, Tanner Wittmeyer. Lane 3 for Titusville, Zach Titus. Lane 4 for Butler, Sam Deemer. Lane 5 for Titusville, Seth Brooks.
It's going to be a close race between Sam Deemer, lane 4, and Zach Titus.
So Butler would have to take a first and a third to win this.
Yes.
Pick up the 9 points. And right now, neck to neck, Butler and Titusville.
So a good one.
Boy, this one's going to be close.
Lane 4, Sam Deemer for Butler, 55-25. Wow,
He won
Zach
that?
Titus, yes.
I thought Titusville
Yeah.
did 3, beat him by a half an arm.
The scoreboard.
Okay.
Yeah, lane 2, Zach.
Boy, don't go by the
55-31.
eye test with me.
It's tough, you know, some swimmers finish under the water, and it's hard to see where their hand touches. And Tanner Wittmeyer ended up in 4th with 103.19.
So Butler gets 8 points. Titusville gets 8.
Yeah, so Butler's still down by 3. I don't think there's a way to catch up with the
2
only
events
having
left.
one relay, yes.
The 100 breast and the 400 free relay.
Girls 100-yard breaststroke.
This is Laura Gettler for Butler in lane 4. She broke the Butler pool record last week.
And this
in
is
the
the
100
one
breaststroke.
she won the WPL gold in. No,
that was
silver.
the IM. Yes.
IM.
Right.
She's going to have a treasure chest by the time she's finished.
boys have lost 2 meets this year by 2 points. Again, it's a matter of not having the depth, not having enough
Not
boys.
having that depth. Well, when you don't fill one of the lanes, you're just conceding a point.
That's right.
Laura
Yeah,
is
way
just
out ahead, yes.
smashing the competition
and Eve
here.
Murhott for Butler in lane 2 is right behind her.
Just so impressed how strong she is.
So Laura Gettler in first with a 107.27. And Eve Murhott of Butler in second with a 116.48.
So Butler girls picking up 10 points
And Kate
there. That
Moss.
ought to clinch this for them, shouldn't it?
Kate Moss for Butler coming in with a fourth.
So Butler picks up 11 points.
Yeah, I'd say the girls have this meet under control.
102 to 51.
Yes.
Wow, the boys at 75, Butler 78, Titusville.
So in the boys 100 breaststroke, in lane 4 we have Zach Calithan. In lane 2 we have Jack Regal. Jack is one of our divers that you saw earlier. He steps it up, swims for us, help us out in the 100 breaststroke. So 2 divers doing double duty tonight.
Lane 1 for Titusville, Jordan Saw. Lane 2 for Butler, Jack Regal. Lane 3 for Titusville, Darius Crawford. Lane
Now, what if you went almost 3/4 of the pool underwater? Do you get disqualified for that?
Yes, with a breaststroke you're only allowed to do 1 pull, 1 kick, dolphin kick.
So you can go maybe half the pool, almost.
Yeah, some of them, some of the really tall, very strong
Some of
boys
them
can,
went
yeah.
past the 5
Right.
feet deep mark.
Right. Now on other strokes, see the red marker in the lane line? It's about
Yes,
3/4
right
way.
there,
The swimmer
yes.
has to come up before that underwater, otherwise they're disqualified. They call it the Ryan Lochte
How in the world
rule.
do they know this?
You know, Ryan Lochte, the Olympian, was
Yes.
so strong in his underwaters, he could swim the whole thing underwater. So they made that rule, you have to come up.
Because of him.
Ryan Lochte rule. Looks like Zach
Rules for the majority are made by the
in the
minority.
lead. In lane 4 for Butler. So Zach wins with 109.64. And Jack, our diver, helping us out in lane 2. Good job, Jack.
So Butler picked up 9 points there, which would put them up in the lead.
Yes, and going into the last event, we only have 1 relay. They have 3, so
That will make it touchy.
yes. This is the last event for the girls, the 400-yard freestyle relay. Each of the 4 girls will do 4 laps of 100.
Event 23, girls 400-yard freestyle relay.
Butler girls up 102 to 64. They have not posted the score for the boys, or changed it, I should say.
So in lane 4 for Butler, we have Rachel Ledford, Abby Griffith, Emma Weiss, and Laura Gettler. In lane 2 for Butler, Eve Murhott, Liz Graham, Morgan Castile, and Katie Knights.
Morgan Castile and Katie Knight.
Laura Gettler's right back in there.
Yes.
Emma Stein, Kira Nieder, and Jasmine Young. In lane 4 for Butler, Rachel Ledford, Abby Griffith, Emma Weiss, Laura Gettler.
Now, will they get tomorrow morning off practice-wise?
Yes, they're going to start resting now. So they're done with morning practices and they're done with lifting too.
All right,
weight room.
they just posted the score, so actually the Butler boys trailing by 5 points, 82 to 87. They picked up 7, but Titusville picked up 4. No, I checked that. Titusville picked up 9. 7 for Butler and 9 for Titusville because it was 78-75.
So Butler is in the lead in lane 4. This is Abby Griffith in the water right now. In lane 2 for Butler is Liz Graham. So diving in the water for Butler in lane 4 is Emma Weiss. And in lane 2 for Butler, Morgan Castillo.
So the Butler girls just strokes away from their 4th team victory of the year.
It is looking that way.
It's amazing to see someone compete in one event, but in 3 events, sometimes 4 events.
It's a lot in one night in a
It's an
2-hour
awful
period.
lot. Yes.
So the 4th swimmer diving in lane 4 for Butler, this is Laura Getler to anchor the relay.
Well, you can put a lid on it now.
Yes. And in lane 2, the anchor for the Butler lane 2 relay is Katie Knights.
So you doing any late night pasta dishes when your son gets home?
No.
No.
They actually, the parents, the boosters, they have a team dinner for the swimmers before the swim meets, whether it's a home or an away meet. So they get a meal, but I'm sure they'll be snacking.
After.
Yes. They're actually, it's senior night, so they have a cake for the team after.
I saw that.
Not the best after swimming meal to eat, but
Can't
I think
hurt
they
them.
burn it off,
Yeah,
right?
I would think so. Throw some ice cream on it
Yeah.
too. So the Butler girls will come away with a convincing win. They led 102-64 going into this final event. So do the Butler boys, just looking at this, they don't have a chance to pull this out?
I don't think so, no, because they only
Trailing
have
by
one relay.
5 points,
Yeah.
they only have 1, so it's just
Even if they win,
they can't they're going to win 6 would give them 88, and
Right.
then it's not enough to win,
correct.
because actually all that
And it's
Titusville
that'll
needs
make
is
3
2
meets
points.
this year. They've lost only by a couple points. So in our last boys relay here for Butler in lane 4, David Bocci, Tanner Wittmeyer, Sam Deemer, and Alex Deemer.
Our last event of the night, event 24, boys 400-yard freestyle relay.
typical time for a meet, Amy. We're just a little bit over 2 hours.
Yes.
2 hours and 10 minutes roughly.
Usually depends how many divers. If you have a full amount of divers, it takes a little bit longer.
It goes by pretty fast.
Yes.
For Titusville in lane 1, Ralph Turchio, Brody Linmeyer, Ian Eldred, Mitchell Baldwin. Lane 3 for Titusville.
Lane 4 for Butler, David Bocci starting off.
Jack Titus, Shane Steffi. In lane 4 for Butler, David Bocci, Tanner Wittmeyer, Sam Deemer, Alex Deemer. In lane 5 for Titusville, Austin Frater, Trey Newman, Jacob Southwick, Seth Brooks.
And David, your son hasn't even reached that growth spurt yet.
Not yet. He's gotten a little taller, but as far as the muscle, he's getting there, but he's...
And you want it to come a little bit gradual.
Right,
And then
absolutely, yeah. So lane 2 for Butler is Tanner, the second swimmer for Butler in lane 4 is Tanner Wittmeyer in the water.
I see they posted the final score for the Titusville girls, 72, but they didn't post anything for Butler yet. It's still 102.
You know what? We probably swam. If you get so far in the lead, the coaches usually exhibition the last relays, so the score doesn't get run up too far. That's probably what happened.
So we could assume 102.72 is the final.
In the water, trying to make up a little space here.
Three events for him this evening.
Four.
Four.
His fourth, yeah.
And Laura had three.
Four.
Four
yeah,
also.
They each won 2 relays and 2.
Now, is there a limit? Is 4 the most you can compete in?
Yeah. All right, here's Sam catching up, and now it's up to Alex Deemer diving in the water. Should be a good race to the finish.
Yes. And a very enthusiastic crowd on hand.
You know, this is very hard for me not to be screaming right now.
Great turn by Deemer.
Good turn.
And Deemer with the strong finish.
And that's the Butler boys' best time of the year, 3:24.51.
Well, so that makes the final score. The Butler girls win their fourth meet of the year, 102-72. They go to 4-6. The Butler boys lose another tough one, and they finish at 5-5 with a meet for both the boys and girls. The final meet this Thursday at Seneca Valley. The boys' record drops to 5-5. Boy, Amy, so great to work with you. Enjoyable here. Appreciate your knowledge and input into this swim meet. And then if it's up to me, and I'm going to put a bug in Carmen's ear, we should do one of these every year.
That would be great. It's great exposure.
Thank you very much. And that's an end to the swim meet here at Butler High School. Thank you and good night.